Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. I am your host, your only god. Let's talk third person mode. I know I'm a little behind everyone else on the content creation here, but I do work a full-time job, so bear with me. I still want to talk about third person mode though. In the background we're going to be watching some gameplay from a game I played during third person mode. Surprise. We won this game, although I actually didn't do a whole lot. Don't worry, that doesn't mean it's not an exciting video. So, while this plays, I'm going to talk a little bit about my feelings on third-person mode, and let me know in the comments what you guys have thought about the events so far. Third-person mode I thought was pretty good. The main complaints that I heard from people that I played with or videos that I watched during this mode was that the crosshair was kind of off to the right, and that threw a lot of people off. But then the other thing that it did was, when you're looting or pinging, you have a tendency to put your crosshair where you want to pick up an item or ping an item. Oh, right here I heard someone underneath us. I wasn't staring at that heavy ammo. I was hearing feet underneath us. Anyway, so you'd go up to an item and put your crosshair on it, but you couldn't pick it up because you were really actually trying to pick up something to the left of the item, because the mechanic worked so that your body lineup was what you were pinging or picking up, but your crosshair is where you were shooting. So you had to make that differentiation, otherwise it was going to throw you off the whole time. I picked that up pretty quickly, and I think it's because I had some experience playing third-person view games previously. For instance, I used to play the Devil May Cry series, and when they've reissued it, I recently began playing it again, and it's a third-person mode, so the camera angles are janky, you can't change them, and you have to learn to deal with stuff like that that's clunky. So, I didn't have as much trouble as a lot of other people did, but oh, that hurt right there. That hurt. But it was one of the main complaints, and I think it's a valid complaint. So if Respawn is going to try this third-person mode again, I would say that they need to reevaluate those mechanics. Aside from that, the other complaint I heard was the sights. When you'd pick up a 3x Ranger, for instance, it would give you a little better zoom, but not a lot. And it certainly didn't look like you were looking down a sight. And with some other sights, for instance, the Sniper Digital Threat, that did look normal, so to speak. So consistency on the sights, and I would agree with that as well, Respawn. Give us some consistency on the sights so that we're not tempted to take one sight over another just because it looks normal in third-person mode. You can hear the last guy running there. This part was kind of intense for me because I was bleeding out, and these guys are finishing the fight, which is okay, fine. But I'm almost bled out and boxed, and this guy's just looting. And then the game stopped letting me ping, let's go here, so I just started spamming that there was an enemy. Which, I hate when people do that, but this guy was about to let me box out so he could get a few more rounds of ammo. So, don't be that spammer, but also don't be that teammate who lets their teammate box because you need a loot. Back to the third-person mode discussion. The other thing that I noticed in third-person mode that was my complaint, and I didn't hear anybody else complaining about this as much, the mechanics are off as far as scenery, ledges, interaction with buildings, stuff like that. I heard a lot of people talk about the zipline stuff, but as you saw right there, my zipline view was pretty accurate. It looked like Bangalore was holding the zipline, and that's how it was no matter what legend I was playing during this whole mode. My zipline mechanics looked fine. But I did notice, like, trying to climb over small rocks or get over a ledge, I would get stuck, and I wouldn't be able to get past it. I'd have to literally back up and go around, or back up and jump forward. It was really janky, so I would say Respawn needs to reevaluate the mechanics in this mode if they're going to bring it back. Which brings me back to a point I made in my initial video where I said I didn't think 2 days was long enough to play a mode and really get used to it. I'm going to amend that and say, even though I admire the ambition of releasing 7 modes in a 2-week game event, I think it's probably not long enough for you to have developed a mode fully as the developer. So maybe be a little less ambitious, give us a fewer modes and a little longer to play them and a little longer for you to develop them, and then just do an extra event. Patience is a virtue, people. Yeah, so this part, I was afraid that our teammate wasn't going to catch up, so I smoked to try and give him a little bit of a barrier there so he could catch up with us. And I knew we were going to get pushed, so I was kind of following this Wraith, who was a beast, by the way. Shout out to this guy. I'm not really sure how to pronounce that name. It's like Maxahol? Like, Max? I don't know. Anyway, this guy was awesome. He was a little hard to keep up with, and at the end, you'll see I did some graphics to indicate there's a point where he starts talking, but you can't really hear him. So most of this game, there were no comms. Oh, sorry. Just game sound. And it made it a little bit hard for us, I think, especially given that the Pathfinder didn't seem to have the ability to pay as much attention and follow the team. Right here, the Wraith is taking us to circle around to those people at Fuel Depot, which I didn't figure out until right about there. That's what the Wraith was doing. I was like, where are we going? Why are we just going in this? Oh, right, we're circling around. So that's what we did, and it ends up being fairly effective, but I don't think it was the result the Wraith was hoping for. And again, such good portal use. Not necessarily the best placement, but excellent use. And it's not terrible placement either. So, we circled around on these guys. And Wraith is just right up in their business. And then they jumped down right behind Wraith, so now I'm 1v2, which this kept happening to me. And I get boxed right there. Also, Respawn, fix the skip button. You push it and nothing happens. If I want to skip staring at my box and get right to spectate, that's what I want to do. I don't want to push a button that says I can skip and have nothing happen. And then that Pathfinder just boxes too because he hung out too long in the storm. Now, to be fair, nobody was talking in comms. I have a mic too, obviously. But at this point, I feel like I needed to say something, so you'll hear me pop onto my mic here in a second. I thought he was saying no right there.
Not even going to try to get our banners and bring us back.
And that was me sort of reminding him, like, there's a respawn beacon right in front of you, and this is a team game, dude. And I think he really did think about it for another second. And I can't necessarily blame him. He probably felt like he was carrying us at this point. But I always try to bring my teammates back, especially when it's going to be that easy. And that reminds me, a lot of these modes I've noticed are meant to create more of a teamwork sense, I feel. Especially the next mode we're going to talk about. So more on that in future videos. But I really do want to encourage everybody who plays this game to stop going in with the mentality, play for yourself, F your team. I keep hearing that from so many people. New players come in and they're like, oh, anybody got any advice for a noob? And the thing that people are telling them over and over and over is, oh, play for yourself, forget about your team. That's not how this game is meant to be played. And that's not what's going to get you the best results. If you are a pro streamer, like Dizzy or Shroud or Staycation or Daltouche or Kobe or Cujo the God, yeah, play for yourself. Because you can. You can take on the whole map by yourself. But the reality of things is, most of us aren't that good. So we need to play as a team, as the game is meant to be played. And this guy with his PK just shredded me, and I'm boxed out. So here's kind of what I was talking about. At the end, I didn't really do much. I'm dead from this point out, but we are going to spectate.
There's a jib inside on my box.
We're going to watch this Wraith just clean up. This Pathfinder kind of didn't know what he was doing, I realized. Here's that mechanic I was talking about where it was just hard to climb things, get over ledges. Right here, he starts telling that Pathfinder to set a zip across. Set a zip across. And he tells him, it must have been half a dozen times he told him, set a zip across. But he was so quiet. You can't even hear him on the recording here. I don't know if maybe he's got his settings set to not share audio, or if he was just that quiet. But he finally gives up and sets a portal instead, but he had to rush under there, so he couldn't get as far with a portal as the zip would have been. Just wasn't as effective. But he makes the best of it. He's just tearing people up with that 99, and then he pulls out that Mastiff. And makes short order of that Wraith. And then bam, right back through that portal, reloading while he goes. Gets up here. You can hear the footsteps off to the right. Not sure what happened there, but we won. So, I do want to say thanks for tuning in. I am sorry that the content's a little bit late. Again, let me know in the comments
really quiet,
what you're
Max.
thinking of the modes so far in this Grand Soirée event. And look forward to some more videos coming. I will try to get them out a little bit faster for the future game modes. And as always, good game. Oh yeah, and one more thing. I just want to remind you not to forget to like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and join me for that live stream on Twitch every Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'll see you on the next one.